Yo, what's up guys, it's me Jedi. Today, we're going to look at the top 10 facts about the famous drug lord, Pablo Escobar. So, let's go. Alright, number 10. He got into crime really early. So, with a lot of these really famous drug lords and a lot of these people, the thing that you'll hear a lot is that, they got into crime really early. They came from the slums, they came from poverty, they came from really low backgrounds. That's usually how all this stuff works, Like when you're at that point where you can't even go to education, where you gotta provide for your family and stuff like that, that's when you start going into stuff like this. That's why you guys should stay in school. Anyway, so the reason he got into crime really early was because of the fact that as a kid he used to love messing around with things. He was really smart in things that are not school related. So he would really put his mind to it, and whatever he put his mind to, he would get it. So he was able to find all these routes to smuggle stuff, and he was able to do all that cool stuff at a really young age. And he would fool a lot of his friends, and he'd be able to steal candy and small things. And of course that led to the stuff he does today. Number 9, leading into the smuggling method. So one of the reasons he was so famous was the fact that he knew about 7 different, people around him said that he knew about 7 different ways he was going to smuggle an item from one area to another area when he wanted to actually go do something. So he wouldn't do something unless he knew 7 different ways of how to get that over the border. So some of the ways that he used to do these were really cool. Number 1, he would go straight with a truck, and there's a popular Netflix series, Narcos, which you guys should definitely go watch. And a lot of the pictures are going to be of that. I'm not going to talk too much about that in this video, but you're going to get small bits and pieces here and there. But in that, they actually have a scene where they actually show him using a truck to actually transport stuff over the border. And he would actually transport like small things in the beginning. He'd be doing DVDs and VCRs and stuff like that. And the way he would do it is he would transport it, and he'd get stopped by the customs, and he would know the history of all the customs people and what they're all their backgrounds, their family situations and stuff like that. And he would just crack it, and he would just startle them, and he would just get it over. So he usually either bribed the people, threatened the people, or did both to him. And the famous thing that he had was plata o plomo, which means silver or lead. So it's either you get bribed by him or you die by him. Number 8, so more of the whole plata and plomo thing. So yeah, silver or lead. The reason he said that was because what he would do is he would bribe them, and if they didn't listen to his bribes, he would just kill them. And that's the way he basically built his entire empire. And he started that from the bottom, and that was always his policy, which he used. And it was a famous scene in the series and all over the place where he'd go over to the toll, and that's the number 1 way he gets things across. And of course he also used a bunch of tunnels and other great outside things, but the main thing that he did was to, of course, bribery or threatening them. So his relationships with people he didn't like. Yeah, Pablo Escobar was not a nice guy at all. He was brought up from a really horrible background, so he basically could not tolerate anything. He had a lot of trust issues. He would rarely trust anybody, and with the people that he hated, he would just kill them, and he wouldn't really worry about it. And sometimes he would be so ruthless to the point where he would invite them as a party, and he would kill them, and he would make it into a huge thing. And that's one of the reasons why nobody really liked him, is because of the fact that he would just kill people just for the fun of it. And people even used to say that he just liked killing people. And he was also super cocky all the time, and he would always just act like he was always better than everybody else, which in most situations that he was in towards the end of his career, he pretty much was. He was really rich at one point, and of course he was Colombia's richest man, so he was able to just go around and do whatever he wanted, and that kind of led to his downfall. Yeah, number 6. So being super rich comes with a lot of perks, for example, his incredible home zoo. There are actually so many animals in that zoo that in Colombia he was actually able to make that into a huge zoo, and it was his own private zoo, and now it's a huge theme park there. So that's actually one of the greatest things he did for Colombia, is he gave him the theme park, and he had that huge zoo, of course, his mansions. He built himself his own prison in which he lived in. It was basically a hotel, a 5-star hotel, and he was able to do all that cool stuff with all the money that he had. And at one point he even had to burn his money to keep his family he did. And he had so much money that he could do anything he wanted. And one of the big problems that people are faced with today are actually his hippos. They're called Pablo's hippos. In Colombia, they're not supposed to have any hippos, but when Pablo brought these hippos over, he put them in the zoo, and he let them be there. But when the people took all the animals away, they forgot the hippos, and now the hippos are multiplying, and they've just become a huge problem in Colombia. Alright, so far we've been looking at Pablo Escobar is like a criminal, like, you know, like a hardened soul who just does not like people. Well, to a lot of people, he was their hero because he wanted to get into politics because he knew if he wanted to have true power, he'd have to get into politics. So, of course, in Colombia, he ran in politics and he actually got the hearts of all the people. Basically, all poor people. He had a lot of money, which he earned pretty easily compared to how other people earn him. So, of course, he always had that small edge over all politicians. He would just give people money. He would make them happy. And they just thought of him like a hero. Like, wow, you know, this businessman helping us. And they wouldn't really think about how he got all this money. They would just be, you know, happy that he's giving them money. So a lot of people were actually down to vote for him. And like a lot of people were actually like on his side. And they would actually hold like Pablo flags and stuff like that. But this also kind of backfired on him. And we'll learn more about that now. So his political career, like I just mentioned, people loved him a lot. But the reason this backfired was because he was so like popular among the people that he decided to run to be the president of Colombia. And the reason that everything went south from there was he was super successful. He had everything going. But the minute he started running for president, that's when the others, that's when the opposing party people started pointing out the fact that he was doing drugs. And he slowly started losing like the good opinion that people had of him. And that kind of really played a toll on him because he put so much money in his political parties and stuff like that. And then the whole thing turned south because more like police and stuff were trying to like, they were going down on him. They were able to come completely like kind of divide the cartel that he had. And at the end of the day, Pablo Escobar pretty much admitted the fact that he would have done really well. And a lot of people knew that if he just didn't get into politics, he'd probably still be doing like huge drug stuff. So one of the major reasons that he had a downfall was because he decided to go to politics. Number two is that a lot of the money that he actually made were just wasted. Like I mentioned before, he had to throw some money to burn, to keep a fire growing. So then his wife and his kids would like stay heated at like a certain point. And then there's also the other points where they had to spend like stupid expenses, like $2,500 on rubber bands to like just like keep all the money there. Because of course they couldn't put it in a bank or anywhere because that's all drug money that they can't really take. So then they had to put it in like that, and they would just waste time on that. And he had to pay like a separate electric bill for keeping all that money because he had so much money they had to store it. And then his house would just be stacks. And he just did not have like the greatest sense of, you know, like human sense. Because if he knew that, you know, all that money, he couldn't really do anything with it, I'm pretty sure he would have done it. But we never know. And his house was basically just filled with money, and he didn't know what to do with it. So at one point, he just started, like, you know, giving it out, and he just started, like, basically just doing what anybody would do with a lot of money. So his death, probably the saddest thing, is the fact that he actually died really young. It was like, he was around, like, middle-aged. And the reason he died was because, you know, some people say that he was shot, some people say that he killed himself. There's actually a lot of evidence showing that he did kill himself. I mean, personally, I believe that he killed himself. And he was actually running away from the cops for a long time, of course, being a drug pin. But once when he was running away, a couple of the police actually like tracked him down, traced him, and they found out where he was. And a lot of people who were close to him said that he did commit suicide because he actually called his son to say I love you and all that great stuff. And if he didn't call them, pretty sure he would have escaped. And it's like an 80% chance that if he didn't call him, he would have escaped. But of course he called his son, so they knew exactly where he was, and the police were able to stop him and trace him down. And he was like running in a rooftop, and he stopped and he killed himself. But of course, all the cops, we know how they work. They're like, oh, I shot him, and like they were like, cool. There was like so many different people saying different things. But at the end of the day, a lot of people believe that he did kill himself because of all the facts that are there. So guys, what do you think of this? Would you want to do this for a living? If you did, what would you do differently from what he did? Let me know in the comment section below. How many of these facts did you know? Do that too. Comment section below, guys. Blow it up. Next up, boom. You know what that is, right? Instagram, yeah, at Jedi.Solomon. Go follow me. Posting there every single day. I respond to all DMs. Comment anything you want. All DMs, I'll respond to them. 100% guaranteed within 24 hours. And just, that's super important. Trying to promote that as much as possible. Also TikTok too, at Jedi.Solomon. Go follow me there. Get that up to like a couple thousand. And we'll start posting more there too. And of course,
like the video, share the video, and subscribe.
Yeah, go do that, man. Super important. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good day. I'll see you guys next time.